Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Avengers is going on, Game of Thrones is going on, and everyone's getting hyped. And then you have our podcast, and I hope everyone's going crazy. What's up, guys?
Up.
Did you guys see Game of Thrones?
I did. I
Same
started
here.
from season one, and then I binged all the way to episode three, season eight,
Okay.
in a
That's
week.
hardcore.
Wait, how many? I don't even remember how many seasons there are. Like seven, eight, nine.
We're on it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's all those animes that you guys recommended that I could have watched, but I chose to catch up on.
I'm assuming Game of Thrones is gonna end this season, and then there's no more. Hopefully,
That's what they say. Yeah.
yeah. Well, we're just gonna have to find out. But yeah, no spoilers. But I'm not sure if the quality was good. I'm a HBO Go holder, so I watched it there. So it might have been like everyone was watching at the same time, and then the servers were crashing or something. But it didn't look as clear. It looked like I was watching it in like 480, like I don't know, for the resolution. I don't know if it was good for you guys, but I couldn't see too much of the battles and stuff like the. It was weird.
I'm pretty much always like that. My connection's not great.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyways, let's actually talk about anime. Today's topic is which anime world would I be in? I being anyone, everyone. So, did you guys think up an anime world that you like to be in? Did you? Did you? All right, to open the floor, I'll just go first.
All right.
I picked Grimgar, the fantasy and Ash. Reasons because it's more realistic. It's based on survival, and why I would pick that or I would like to be in that world is because it has to do a lot with like there's a consequence to your actions, and even if let's just say I don't remember the leveling system. I don't know if they actually become um like higher level, but if they become like I don't know the leveling system, so I can't really say much. But I don't think you could be like max level and still have to um fight. Like even if it's like a small creature, you have to like risk. There's like a risk for it. I think so. There's no power gap. Like yeah, you have your level, but there's still a chance for you to die. You know, from just like a small innocent creature, I guess you could say. And it has to do it a lot with I don't know. I find myself to be like a minimalist, so I don't really need too much. So I think I do really well. And I think it's kind of like the world right now where um yeah, it's like realistic. So if you die, you die. You don't come back alive. And yeah, that's my world. Anime world.
That's interesting. You kind of like talk about it as being realistic, but you also mention it as like being a good thing. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Because you can't have like a weird power gap thingy where it's like in level one, yeah, I understand. You're a noob and you could barely survive or something like that. But for Grimgar, it's like, yeah, you could be level one and you could be with a bunch of group, but if you work together or if you have a clever mind, you'll be able to, um, you know, be able to survive. And then the most important thing in that world is survivability. Like having, I think in one of the episodes, just like a regular poison dart getting shot at to you, usually like a regular RPG type game, you could fix it with an antidote. But in this world, it takes more than just an antidote. It's like you get shot by, I don't know, I mean, like, for example, if you get bit by like a cobra or something that has like, venomous thing, it's not going to go away. And then there's consequences, right? Um, there's, yeah, so there's like the cause and effects that happens. And so like that's what think it's, I don't know, I like it because regardless of the fact that it's realistic, it's more realistic, there's still the fantasy based stuff, like, there's like they require adventures like archers and mages, and there's like magic and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty much like having been tossed out in the jungle, but with being able to use magic and stuff.
So would you say that like the like risk reward is actually like a plus for you?
To me, I understand that um, people don't know, or if you're into anime, it's usually like it's impossible like what they do in the anime. But I feel like when it's more closer to reality, the reward is equal because of I guess survivability. When you're able to buy or get food or be able to, go back home with your family or your friends after like a successful hunt or something like that, that would be much more of a reward than, I don't know, let's just say getting like a new godlike sword, or um, I don't know what other animes do, but like getting like a power level or something like that. Yeah, it's a realistic reward, and I think that's better.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like the risks are pretty harsh, but
Yeah, right. Like when you think of anime, you don't really think of just being like dead. Like in all every almost I could say like for almost every anime, if they do a scene where the anime character dies, chances are they're not dead, right?
yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, definitely in like shonen stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that kind of got rubbed off on me, and I'm just like, well, even if they make this scene where the main character, or not the main character, but like let's just say the master or the trainer of the main character dies, he's not really dead. And a good example, I guess you could say, is My Hero Academia. I had to watch it, or I was like gritting my teeth and watching like, I actually watched 3 seasons in like 2 days because
Yeah.
for the content, or I had to like I needed to know about like the story and stuff. So, have you seen all of it?
I've seen season one.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
yeah.
But yeah, there's a season where, some characters that's supposed to die isn't dead, or so that's what I thought. But because of it being like a shonen, they don't die. So I'm just like, okay, well, I gave up on it. Like after season 3, I was like, okay, I'm like tolerating all this shit, but when this happens, like the final battle, I'm just like, okay, okay, all right, I'm done. I can't watch it anymore. So I watched up to like the first 5 episodes of season 3, and then I can't do it anymore.
No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, but yeah, after this, I have to watch Attack of Titans because yeah, to be able to like understand what everyone's like talking about. So yeah, that's why. Anyways, yeah, that's why I think the reward for being in that world is a lot better than other anime.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. It's definitely easier to live a more fulfilling life.
Hmm. And then it's like understandable too because it could happen like right now, as of right now. Well, obviously you can't encounter goblins and stuff unless you consider ugly ass people like goblins. I don't know, but yeah. Besides, the fact that it's a RPG game, it's really similar to real, hmm? Realism. Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty gritty.
yeah. And I wish they made like a season 2, but no, not many people like it or that type of um, genre.
Yeah, it's actually fairly unique. It's
Yeah, yeah,
there's not a lot like it actually.
yeah. Right. If you've seen like all the other ones, other type of RPG sucked in game or whatever,
Yeah.
there's like Sword Art or Konosuba, and it's just like you see that there's that. I consider that to be obviously it's anime, so it's unrealistic, but it's kind of like okay, even if you get to the higher level, how were you able to move like that as like an actual human being? It's just like relying too much on leveling or that certain power. I don't know if you realize that in Grimgar, all their skills is like possible. It's like, yeah, obviously there's like some that's like weird, but like overall it's pretty like you could see that could happen. I don't know, like there's like a rogue move. It's like backstab or something like that, but where you could um I forgot what they did, but it was pretty much how it sounds like. It's just you could jump faster or not faster. What's it called? Further or something, and you could jump behind them and then backstab them or something like that. But it's like an endurance thing, right? Like over time, you become a lot stronger physically and mentally, so you're capable of doing these sort of skills. But yeah, that's my world.
Okay.
Yeah. And what about you, Tim?
Actually, I just wanted to talk about My Hero Academia
Okay.
because I think it's actually a fairly ideal world just because it's not like it's it's a lot more peaceful than like the other kinds of worlds. I
Mm.
feel like we kind of looked at the question a little differently because you kind of like look at the kind of like rules that the author kind of and like the director look at when they like plan out what's going to happen.
Mm.
But I kind of look at like what's the world like? Like, is it peaceful? Like, um, is there a lot of like misfortune and things like that? And actually, I think My Hero Academia is fairly peaceful.
Mm.
Like, there's death and stuff, but it's like It's fairly minimal. It's not like it's no One Punch Man where like entire city just like gets decimated. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's like the regular stuff like police and all those law enforcements besides the heroes. So as a civilian, yeah, it's like a really peaceful city, right? And then, well, not peaceful, but there's like villains too. But you're more protected, I guess you
yeah,
could say. Yeah.
yeah. So there's like a system of order, and there's a lot of law in there. And one thing we kind of like discussed a lot, like when we were coming out with this topic, was like what happens if you're a regular person, but in like My Hero Academia, almost everyone has a quirk.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, like not having a quirk is more rare.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could see that like having a quirk and like developing your quirk and working on it could be a worthwhile endeavor and could be fairly fulfilling work. And you find some sort of work that
Suits your quirk, right? Yeah.
only you can do. Or
Yeah, yeah. Um, even if it's like a useless one. Obviously, if you can't become a hero, that means that your quirk is kind of just like just a useful tool, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, yeah,
I
that
guess
it is.
there were a bunch of quirks that were like fairly useless.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess that could happen to you.
Yeah, everyone to themselves too. Like,
Yeah,
there's like Midoriya, the main character's mom, that she could just like bring whatever is close to her.
yeah,
That's pretty useful. Yeah, you don't
it's
have to
useful
like
stuff.
walk around. Yeah, but yeah, definitely in terms of like what, like you say, like a peaceful world, or if you weren't a main character, yeah, that would be yeah, a pretty nice world to be in. But I guess it depends on the personality of the person too, right? Like,
Oh,
for,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
for like I understand that everyone has like their own preference of what kind of world they want to be in, and that's why we have like the current world where everyone's fighting. There's like politics, and everyone's debating about a lot of things. That's because everyone's not, or everyone's trying, or they have their own way of thinking of what peace in their mind is.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think a lot of people would find peace as like, well, that means that you have to define what peace is to that person, or what that person thinks peace is, right? But yeah, it's a hard topic as what's it called, to come across, I guess. See what peace means. Wait, was that your was that what you picked?
I don't know if I have a real pick. I just kind of have like a couple that I think would be pretty interesting to live in.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, sure.
Like, I've already talked about Den no Coil, right? Or it's the well, okay, it's like an anime where it's a bunch of kids who run like a pet detective agency, and they like run around with like kind of a pseudo futuristic world.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of just like wear Google Glass and like live on the internet.
Yeah.
And I picked that one because that's a it's fairly normal. Like they just kind of live in Japan. The only difference being that they have high tech, like a little bit higher tech.
Yeah. Yeah, in that sense, I guess it would be you're looking more for like a realistic close similar to uh, the Earth we live in, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's a little different because I mean, if you're talking about Grimgar, you're gonna see like the worst the world has to offer, but in a show like Den no Coil where it's aimed at where it's a shonen show, or
Mm.
you don't really get to see like the adult stuff that happens, right? Like I
Yeah.
don't know what the state of the politics is like. You don't I don't know what the law is like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about Den no Coil. It's not like too detailed, I guess you could say about yeah, like you said, the law of the world, but it I guess that's how we take the anime. We could probably think that everything's like the same, or maybe not, but it has to do a lot with the tech further advanced technology, you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But would that be like a world you want to live in, like as like a normal person, or like someone that has, or like what's your take on like the world, on that world? Would you say that you would have those gadgets as well, or
Definitely in that world, it seems that having that kind of gadget is a normal thing.
mm-hmm.
Like, because all the children have it. And, like, it's basically common kids. It's not like poor kids and rich kids, and, like, the poor kids don't have anything. It's just everyone has it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that signals that generally they have a higher quality of life.
Mm. Okay. Yeah.
And definitely, like, personality has a lot to do with the kind of world you would pick, because I feel like if you're like bad with technology, you definitely don't want to pick a world with higher, like more advanced tech, right? Because
Yeah.
then you'd
Yeah.
just be even more lost. But I love technology, and it'd be cool to experience like more higher tech. So in general, like those are my picks.
Ah, that's
Good stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so it comes back to just personal preference of, or not preference, but like the personal definition of peace, which everyone is different. So, okay. I wonder if Set is still here.
Yep.
All right, shoot away.
It have Grimgar as well, but since you already picked it, I'm
Oh.
gonna choose my other alternative, which is Pokemon, because I feel like it's the world to find purpose in, because
Mhm.
there's a lot of things you can do. Like the fact that you can either like just explore the world and battle people and like get some kind of prestige title.
Mhm.
Like you can be like that Pokemon man, or you can also just and capture Pokemon and then study them. And the world is, I wouldn't say it's safe. I think it's from from like a the cartoon or the anime perspective. There is like a kind of like a it implies that it's safe, but if you think about it, it's kind of dangerous, right? There's like legendary Pokemon which are like super strong and stuff, and they like can like destroy cities or completely morph the weather into like tsunamis or what's that one, or just bring like massive amount of land out of nowhere, like causing earthquakes and stuff like that. So a lot of people probably die, but they just don't show it because it's a kids show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think it's safe per se, but since you have kind of like strong Pokemon as well, it kind of like protects you, right? Like you can just fly around on a Charizard, you know. So I think it's pretty cool, and I feel like it has the same concept as like in our world as well, where there's still, even though there's still danger, you can go out and like face it. It's just in a much easier and open way. I feel like everyone's like friendly, you know, and you can start at age 10. Like that's crazy, right? Like when you were 10, you can really go anywhere without adult supervision.
Hmm.
So the Pokemon world is pretty mature, letting a bunch of kids go out and, you know, face gangs and stuff by themselves. And who knows, you know,
So
do some drugs or whatever.
you're treating Pokemon as like animals, like wild animals, right? Like, but with powers, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So like,
So, so
even if you like for a zoo, it's okay. Everything seems peaceful because everything's under control. But in the wild, if you go like come across like a wild, I don't know, like a let's just say a jackal or something, or a rabbit or whatever, it's it's still dangerous because you don't know what it's gonna do, right? There's no control. You have no control for it.
yeah, right. The world is actually like really dangerous.
Hmm.
Like if you think about it, because you know there's like muck or whatever. You see them, you know, they shoot acid at you, and then you just like melt, right? Or you can get poisoned, you know, or some douchebag Jigglypuff comes down or comes out and sings, and like you fall asleep and you get like mugged and raped. I don't know.
Okay, that got real dark.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the Pokemon world is actually really dark. And if
Hmm.
you think about like the ghost Pokemon, they're like scary, right?
Yeah.
Or then they have like psychic Pokemon, which like can control you and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty scary world, I think, if you really think about it. So I would say it's the same thing as like a like Grimgar world. Like
Mm,
like the more dangerous the world, in a way where you can maintain order, right? It's not dangerous like Attack on Titan, where you're just like you're like helpless, you can't do anything. But I feel like the more and the more tools you have to be able to control the danger, the more fulfilling that world will be,
Mm.
right? Because you have like more purpose and more. It's like high risk, high rewards, right? It's not just like high risk and no rewards, which is kind of like Attack on Titan.
yeah.
Like it's just horror, right? It's hell, and there's like no way you can like restore order in like that hell. So I feel pretty good choice.
Mm. Yeah. So that means that Ash is going through a hell of a time.
Yeah, I mean, like just the world itself, from what we know, we can kind of like say it's dangerous, right? It's just like the anime is such peaceful and stuff because they don't show like people dying and stuff like that, right? So so you can't really presume it's safe in a sense because we never seen like the bad side of it.
And one factor you have to put in is you age a lot slower in that world.
Or you don't age at all,
Or
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they let you go out at 10, because you've been 10 for 30 years.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you
You're
just turn into like an old dude like Professor Oak. There's no
Professor Oak is
middle.
2,000 years old. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like that. I mean, that's a unique world too, right? Like in the future, we can control aging.
Mm.
Like how would that happen? Control aging, like therefore our brains would also age slower, right? And because our brain ages slower, like those connect you able to see the and clearer. Like that's where wisdom and comes from. Like you don't have that ability because it's not physically constructed, right? So
Mhm.
it would make sense that even though you would be 40, if you have a body of a 10-year-old, you can only think like a 12-year-old, I guess. 12 or 14, even though you're 10. Biophys built to entertain the future.
Mm. Well, there's a theory that it's not your you only age, or it's because of oxygen, that oxygen is poison and it slowly kills everyone, and it's probably because of that that everyone looks older and older, besides the fact that you grow, that's your biology, but we have like poison. There's like a theory or whatever. I don't know if it's real, but
Well, there's different kinds of like aging, right? Like your body deteriorating after it reaches peak. Like that's, but I'm talking mentally like okay, so for example, you're a toddler, right? You're a 4-year-old, or let's go 2-year-old. If you stay a 2-year-old for I guess 10 years, do you think you'll be able to have the biophysical ability that you would have if you stayed a 2-year-old? You wouldn't, right? Even
yeah,
though
if
like you would still be helpless kind of away,
mhm.
right? Because your body doesn't age, because we associate age with like negative, right? Like something that we die, but there's like development age, right? That we don't like really consider.
Mhm.
So if you consider the fact that you don't develop because you stop aging, then you would only be in that frame period of development. So I'm saying if you stay 10 forever, then your frame would just be 10 forever. Like you don't have the capacity to think beyond 2 or 3 years because you don't have those circuit and those biochemical pathways built because they're not developed yet.
Okay.
Oh god, though. I mean, if they age slower, I assume that they live longer than the like average human lifespan here. So shouldn't it like normalize at the end? I mean,
Like if you want to normalize at the end, it should be like
or
around,
by the end.
yeah, like after you're 25, right? Like after you fully developed, then you can stop aging there because you have everything you need, right? You're fully grown, fully developed, and then
I
you're
mean,
probably,
it's relative though. So if everyone in that world is like that, then they're not gonna like really notice or like really care that things are different.
yeah, but like it's not relative per se when it comes to it's not too much, right? It's for example like puberty, right? Everyone hits puberty within a certain range, and everyone's brain stop developing within a certain range, or they stop growing like in height, right? So it's not too relative in a way. Like maybe it's like 1 or 2 years, but it does normalize in that age range. So you would probably when you're fully developed, right? Like, do you want to stop aging when you're like 16?
Well,
This is in terms of your physically aging, or you're talking about mentally? Because if you age mentally but you're still in like a 16-year-old body, yeah, you might not have perks to some stuff, but I think a lot of people would like to have like forever be youthful.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that you stop mentally developing around 25, so you don't have the capacity. of it's like a futuristic kind of sense. You don't have that ability until you're like 25.
What I'm saying is that if our lifespan here is like, like 80 and their lifespan there is like 160, then I think they're like the age that they stop maturing should probably be double ours or like longer. Like it should normalize. Like it shouldn't be like weird because they on Pokemon they're trying to like portray a rather normal world. It's just kind of weird because they want to create a kids show where
We're going too deep, man.
yeah.
This wasn't intended.
We're not even like talking Pokemon anymore. Yeah, in case of Pokemon, it would normalize in a way because that's their intention. There's intention. But if we like compare it to like a world setting, like a real world, like our world, then it would be different. Right? Because when you want to talk about worlds you live in, I feel like you can't you kind of have to like have like this creative sense, right? Because the author or whatever probably left out a lot of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, the main thingy is the Pokemons and the association with the Pokemon. So I don't think they would go that deep into the actual world. The only reason why we're talking about this is because like we're not trying to be the main character and following Ash's or whoever the main character's adventure is. It's just like the side people that's either living among with like the wild Pokemon or like everyday life, I guess you could say.
And it is funny, right? Ash is either the best character to be or the worst character to be.
Yeah, because he's either like forever immortal or just like, or I don't know.
Yeah, or he's like super lucky all the time. Like he never like, breaks a leg or shit like that,
Yeah.
or gets like poisoned, right? He's like the luckiest guy ever.
Well,
The other hand, he's like the most dumb fuck person you've ever witnessed, right? Like he doesn't know any basic Pokemon shit. Like he's literally like retarded.
he did turn to stone. I guess he ran out of luck that time.
Yeah, but then he freaking got, revived or some shit. Super lucky.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Right?
Okay. All right. Damn. All right. Well, when it comes to I guess the world, we think more, right? It's not just what it is in the anime. It has to be more about the law of the world, I guess you could say, that we pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you pick like a utopia world, then you would find ways to produce chaos. Like you would try to find ways to ruin it. Because no utopia. I think it was forgot who, like there's a book that explains that. I don't remember which one. Is it Brave New World? No, I don't know.
Oh, but
So.
yeah.
Not Utopia, right? I think so. There was I don't remember.
Okay, well, going back to why you picked Grimgar, Set, why would you pick Grimgar?
Because it has the same high risk, high rewards kind of feel, and it has the sense of wonder and exploration. Like you can just sit in town and not do anything, right? But then you won't like grow, like you won't be stronger, and then you can't do stuff alone, party, right? And then you have to like be smart about it. So then it actually takes a lot of planning, development for you to just like slay some goblins, and then And then adding to that fact, you have to be skillful, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're an archer, you actually have to like be able to shoot shit. And then if you're a healer, you have to be able to like, position yourself and have good allies, So I feel like that's that real to it,
Mm-hmm.
which I really like, because if anime or if a world doesn't have realistic danger, then there's no realistic goal, right? There's like no point in you doing that, and life would just get boring. It would just be like playing a game, because a game there's like no play like an online game. You don't get yourself, so then you can get bored easily, right? Because there's no like a sense of danger, and I think like we need that little bit of danger in our life to be able to like have more meaning in it.
Grimgar is more dangerous than the real world, though. Are you like? Do you
I,
guys
I
mean
would
that
say,
the real
yeah,
world
no,
is kind
okay.
of
It's more dangerous than the real
okay?
world. There's an opportunity for you to control it, right?
Yeah,
Because if in a sense, it might be safer in Grimgar. For example, if you were born in like Venezuela or some shit like that, or some shitty third, it's more dangerous for you, right? Because you
yeah.
get killed by like plague and diseases and dirty water, and you starve to death. But at least in Grimgar, you have abilities to control your catastrophes better. So I would argue, I wouldn't say than our world. Yeah.
Okay, so on average, it's actually like safer,
Yeah,
like compared to
on
like
average,
the
yeah.
entire average of the whole
But
world.
there's a negative, right? There's no internet. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys want to live in a world without internet?
Yeah, it's like instead of technology, they choose more of like a survivability type stuff.
Yeah, which is interesting, right? Like even though you don't have technology, you can still find like a meaningful life.
I don't recall like the beginning. Did they get transferred over, or were they did they start in that world?
They they start they were like real they were in the real world.
But they reincarnated, right, or something like that.
Yeah, into like this one building, like all of them are there.
Okay, that might be a little tougher because you already witnessed all the electronics and stuff like that, and then you get thrown into like a pretty much no technology whatsoever.
Yeah, I feel like that one would be really hard, especially if you're not like athletic, or if you're not, say, in like combat or strategy, then it
Yeah.
would be hard to like kill someone, right? Like I feel like people with like military training or some kind of like self defense be like better suited for it, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So part is assume that's not the reason. Assume you're like the characters, all fit and healthy. Then there's a good chance of survival.
Man, to think about it, like if you were a tank in that game, it must suck. Like usually in like those type of games, if you're a tank, there's like skills, right? Like your skin won't be as like soft; it'll turn into like a stone or I don't know, something like that. But in there, it's like if you get shot by like a poison arrow or whatever as a tank, you're like, oh shit. Like you only
Yeah,
have like a big ass shield to like actually be a tank, you know?
and you'd be more likely to be shot by a poison arrow. So
Yeah, that's scary, man.
Yeah, but it's like necessary, right? Like it's kind of like a decoy kind of thing. It's like the people who in the front line, right? Like you need to have someone like you just can't have your healer charging in, So
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna have to work your way up to like a plate mail without any gaps in the plate mail.
yeah, it's a shit job, but I think it's one that people would respect a lot more in that world.
Yeah.
Like this guy's fucking badass, you know. Probably gets all.
And then jeez, I forgot the currency for that game. Is it you have to trade the the body parts of the goblins and stuff like that
Yeah.
for
You
currency? That sucks.
have to get their body, and then you trade it in.
Yeah, I mean that's your form of income, so you have to actually do it, or else you won't be able to get food or have a shelter.
Yeah, it's definitely a world you can't live on your own, right? So no government subsidies.
Yeah, that's scary. Like you have to be in a city, or even if you're in a city, there's like those, rapists or whatever. But if you live outside, you don't know what's gonna kill you out there. Why are you sleeping? Even if there's a lot of for that season they only showed like a jungle, so I'm assuming like the rest of the world is like a jungle too, and then there's like pockets of cities and stuff like that. That's just my take.
Yeah, we don't know. So
It's too vague, so we have to just go with what we have.
which day season 2 or didn't read the light novel either, so
I feel like I should at least read the novel. It's on Amazon. Yeah, all right, that's our world.
Did you guys pick worlds that you didn't?
yep. Attack on Titan.
It's a good one, yeah.
But there's a possibility that you could become a titan.
Which
You have
is
that
still a
gene.
shit job, right? Because you die like accelerated death. I forgot, you have like what, 8? 16? But Aaron's about to die, that's all I know.
Oh shit, I didn't even know.
Like there's a time limit to it. And then someone has to eat you. So it's like it's just a cruel world.
Wait, they have to eat you? What?
Yeah, if they want your, if they
Your
don't eat you, it randomly goes to someone else.
Oh, okay. Oh well, I have to watch it starting today. Probably take like 2 days to watch everything until I finally give up.
I feel like the Fate Stay Night world would be a shit world to live in too.
Yeah.
Much stress, right? Like everyone's out there to kill you with like strong servants. And I don't know how you sleep at night, man.
Well, it's not everyone, right? It's just like a certain few, but we can't even see what's going on with these destructions that happens or occurs. We're just blaming it on natural, environmental hazard. Because other people can't see the summons, right?
Yeah, you pretty much just die.
Yeah.
Wait, can they? Because
Wait.
dang it, is it Shiro's stepmom or something or aunt? Because she could see Saber. Like they're always eating together.
Well, that's because she materialized for the sake of what's it called? I don't know, for the sake of remedy.
Oh,
I don't know, like just for like
yeah, she was able to
easier.
like show herself. I
Yeah.
don't know if that was a thing specific to Saber, because she had kind of like magic that she could like hide her sword and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but was she able to hide herself though? Hmm. Yeah, not an expert in this field.
Actually, I think they can't see them because they can go into like a spirit mode, but they don't do that when they like fight, right?
Um,
Uh,
I,
I
I don't
don't
know about
know.
Saber, but yeah, I think for Archer you could do that, right?
Oh, I thought that was for everyone.
Oh, I don't know.
I know you can just teleport them to you, but that costs one of those command seals.
Commands, yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking in terms of just living in that world, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that means that you're not gonna get a summon unless you're like a powerful wizard
Yeah.
or something.
Because it's like,
Which we all are, right? I'm just kidding.
I mean, there's only like 8 slots, right? If you're
Yeah,
not one of those 8, then you're out. So,
yeah. You probably be able to see the summons because you have that sorcery power, but it won't be as strong, I guess. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of shit that you can't see or can see. I don't even know. That's like destroying the world.
Yeah,
Well, that sucks.
another shit world.
So it's kind of like Gantz, right? You can't see the aliens, or I mean, you actually can't see any one of them, but there's like random shit in the world that's occurring.
That's what I didn't like about Gans. At first, it was like that, right? And then the author kind of just like went to hell with it, made it where people can actually see, like the vampire and the monsters.
Um, wait,
You don't remember the when they introduced a vampire
the
and
vampires
then
weren't the aliens though. They were living amongst the humans, weren't they?
but aren't they considered aliens too?
Well, I was under the impression that they were already like um I don't know, man.
There was like this one chapter where like Kay was like, "Holy shit, they can see us." Because remember, people weren't able to see people in Gant suits,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden, people like started to like notice them, and he was like, "What the fuck?" And then they could see the aliens too. That's why his girlfriend like saw him, and I don't know. And then after that, um, everyone can see monsters now. So I don't know what the author did there.
I do kind of remember that.
Damn. I just know that the art style just changed so much that I didn't want to watch it, but I had to finish it for the sake of finishing it. Yeah. Did you guys like the ending? I don't know if you guys saw like the very end, but it's like there's like a god or whatever that creates everything.
In Gantz?
Yeah.
Oh, I only got up to aliens.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that was like the most iconic one where it's like the vampire. No, no. Which one was it? That one alien that could transform into anything or something like that. There's like a live action movie of that as well. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be in a world where there's like shit that'll kill you just for the sake of it. Not like an actual person, but even there's like worse. There's more stuff out there that's dangerous, and then yeah, that's why I can't pick like even Pokemon and stuff like that. It's just like increasing the odds even more. Like there's no balance where it's like, all right, we're gonna put some goblins and all these stuff in there, but we're gonna give you these skills in order to kill them. There's like none of that. Like yeah, in Pokemon you probably have a Pokeball, but that's probably it, right? Like you have to
Yeah.
depend on your starter Pokemon, and if that gets fucked, then you're fucked. Or you have to, I guess you could depend on other people to like catch one for you or fight it off or something.
Do you guys remember like the first episode of Pokemon where like he almost like didn't get a Pokemon? I don't even know like what would happen to him.
I was under the in the
Just like,
in the beginning. I thought you had to like you weren't able to get a Pokemon like in the beginning, so you had to like throw rocks and weaken the Pokemon that way.
wait, he didn't get a Pokemon, right? Like he ventured into the wild, and that's how he found Pikachu.
What? No?
No.
No?
Professor Oak had like an extra like Pokemon that he didn't want to give out because
Oh, and then they went to the wild.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Aw, man.
That would be fucked up. It's like everyone fucking gets their own Pokemon and adventures out, and it's like, Ash, no, you're a little bitch. Here's a Pokeball, go get it yourself. It's like, how?
And he got like the worst Pokemon, right? Like
Yeah.
that Pikachu is so retarded. I feel like it doesn't level. Like that's why
That's why he
Professor
doesn't
Oak.
evolve.
Yeah,
He doesn't get new skills because he doesn't level.
yeah, because he lost against like a starter Pokemon that's like a level 5, and Pikachu at that time should have been like level 99. It was like in I think season 7 or some shit like that.
Was Brock or Misty the first gym?
Brock.
Oh, that fucking sucks. It's
Yeah.
like not only
Right?
It was
He
impossible.
cheated to get the badge.
yeah. So technically, he would have been stuck there forever. And he couldn't like go around it either because the path is you have to go through Brock in order to go to the next zone. And then all the Pokemon to him was like grass type or insect type.
Yeah. Had so it's immune to electricity. So it shouldn't even damage it. So it's like shit.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fair. Like just to use like the sprinklers to soften it. I'm like, what the fuck?
I assume
Yeah.
like that doesn't even make sense. Like I assume you have to be able to like wash your Onyx.
And he does too. There's like episodes where he uses like a deck brush and then like washes them.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was just like, what? It makes like no sense. So you could use some water, but not too much. Okay.
Why does he even have sprinklers in his gym? Like everything's made out of like rocks. There's nothing to burn.
Right? Like our lab NBS was like made of stone for that purpose, right? So it wouldn't burn. So yeah.
Well, maybe the roof and stuff might catch on fire above the sprinklers.
I said NBS again. It's a NSB. Fuck.
Yeah. Pokemon World, a bunch of memes. Were you able to transfer over some Pokemons via the computer at the starting zone, or did you have to go to like a certain city to do that?
I think they did let you. We're talking about the game though.
Yeah, the game, yeah.
Yeah, because like every city had the computer in the Pokemon Center, and you could just like transfer your Pokemon out.
Yeah, because I remember my theory was I just throw away the starter Pokemon or let it go, and then use like a Ghastly instead, and then start with like a Ghastly as a starter Pokemon. Yeah, obviously I didn't do it, but that would be pretty cool. Yeah, all right. Well, if there isn't anything else, I think it's Tim's turn to share manga, anime.
Is it my turn? Okay.
I
Well,
don't
I mean, I got someone.
I don't remember whose turn it was. Okay, well, yeah, okay. Go for it, Tim, and then yeah, I'll do it next.
Okay. So my pick is it's a upcoming movie. It's called mm, I don't know what the like translation is gonna be. It's called Kaiju no Kodomo. I guess it's like children of the sea monster.
Mm-hmm.
Something.
Yeah, yeah.
Sea
Sea people like kaijin. Yeah,
sea
it's like
people,
yeah.
yeah. It's gonna come out on June 7th. Right? Yeah, June 7th. And it's being made by Studio 4C,
Mm-hmm.
4 Degrees C. And it looks really good. Like there's a lot of like really nice uh, basically I know nothing about it except the trailer, which was like 20 seconds long. But it looks like it kind of looks like a coming of age story where it's like young kids and they're like grown up and they see some like mysterious figures in like the ocean.
Is it like a drama or action or adventure?
You know what? The trailer doesn't say, so I assume it's gonna have some like action in it and it's gonna be a lot of drama.
Okay.
But what really drew me to this show, the movie, was that there's a lot of like really beautiful hand-drawn scenes in the trailer, and also the music is being done by Joe Hisashi
Oh.
of Ghibli fame, so music's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
So so it'll probably be a family-friendly movie that's gonna be good for everybody. Everyone should watch it. I don't know what it's about yet, so.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, even if the anime is terrible, the music's gonna be good. That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I definitely
Yeah,
will watch it.
looks good. I'll probably watch it too. And Penguin Highway, whatever, Express Highway.
Oh yeah. I gotta put that one on my list.
And then the for the the people who like those lewd anime, there's one called the Why the Hell Are You Here Teacher anime. That's the uncensored version. You know what that means? So get on that. uh, all right. Yeah, that's it for today. What else are we talking about? Or do you guys want to talk about? Want to cover more about the world? What would you guys think of living in that world where what's that? What's that anime called? That it's like a the guy goes objection or something like that. It's like a law
Oh,
thingy.
Ace Attorney.
Yeah, isn't that a world where everything is just pretty much by law or like it's an attorney world, right?
Um, from what I understand, like the show is actually kind of a satire on like Japanese law practices,
Mm-hmm.
where like the prosecutor is like basically in charge of just like trying to squeeze a confession out of like the defendant. I mean, it sounds kind of like the game and stuff sounds kind of ridiculous when you like play it, but that's kind of like the reality of what the law system is like there.
Mm.
Like basically they just kind of like drag these defendants into like the police station and they just kind of like pressure them and
Yeah,
it's kind of rough actually.
like assuming because they don't really go into the world, but I'm assuming
Yeah.
like the rest of the world is gonna be like that. So would you guys want to be in like that law heavy place where every time something good or bad happens, you get sent to court.
Nah, man, not about that life. I don't know much about law, right? Like if I was a lawyer, maybe.
That means that no, the worst part is there's jury duty like every day. You gotta go to jury duty. That's like your income. You have to go to jury
Yeah,
duty.
they gotta make that like a regular job. It's like a paid juror.
Oh man, that sucks. Okay, all right. So then, would you guys rather be in like um a world that's closer to our world, like a realistic world, or more uh, non-fictional? Or sorry, fictional. Wait, fiction is the one that's like not real, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fictional. What is your world that would you rather be?
Well, personally, like fiction is rather broad. I like I don't know. The internet's pretty important to me.
Hmm. But I mean, there could be like a world like Gundam or Evangelion where there are electricity, but there's like big robots that you can pilot or control. Well, yeah, I guess if we say like, what would you want to be in a world where there's Gundam? Because technically, if you work hard enough, I think even in the army they have not the best Gundam, but there's some mobile suits.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be like that in the future because the problem is that there's no AI to help you
Yeah.
do certain things. Like if there was AI built into the Gundam, then it would be like one of the best
Mm.
weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah.
And
Because
look,
that's
yeah.
actually the biggest problem is that Gundam are just not intuitive enough for people to control.
I mean, looking at the anime and stuff, the only thing they do is just like there's like a lever that they like push forward, and then apparently that like controls the, the Gundam to like swing sideways and kick and stuff like that.
Yeah, so
So
there must be AI built into that, right?
yeah, yeah. And then you see them like always like on the PC or something like that in the Gundam, like the main frame or something like that. So you got to be really smart and probably looking at Gundam Seed, you had to be like combat heavy too, like physically.
Yeah. I mean, I assume that like Gundam would be like a part of the military service.
Hmm.
Like they would have like a Gundam only regiment. So like you would
Yeah.
have to go through like boot camp and like do the like regular like military stuff and then get moved into like a Gundam division. No,
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it could be possible, but if we were to live in that world, it must be like pretty scary because you don't know when there's gonna be a big ass Gundam blowing a hole in there.
In your space colony.
Yeah, there you go, space colony.
uh, but it's the same token, right? Like you don't know when you're gonna get nuked. Still.
I actually assume that like the level of danger is about the same, or like maybe even better, because like we have like radar and stuff. You can like see a Gundam coming, and then like you can like go down into the bunkers, right?
Yeah, and I feel like that display of like catastrophe is like the 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 most catastrophic that they can think of. You know,
Yeah,
it's probably not everyday thing that you'll probably see. If anything, it'll probably be more peaceful in a way.
To be fair, they do have radars. It's just they have those invisible Gundams or the stealth tech or whatever.
oh, that's right.
Yeah, but that would be like in a world where there's space colonies instead of just the Earth, right?
Yeah.
Like they can't blow up the whole entire Earth. I don't think they have that power, or I've never seen that happen before in the Gundam world. So I'm assuming we'll all be living in these small colonies.
Well, in like the original movie, like the Gundams were like the replacement for like nukes and stuff as
Mhm.
like a less destructive alternative.
Yeah, I think they were powered by like uh like nuclear power or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
pretty sure.
Yeah, but yeah, would you say we're heading in that direction as well?
I hope so, because that's like the only is the energy source, right? Like Gundam's probably way like, oh shit, I can't even like imagine, but really, really, really heavy. So how do you get like an energy source to move something that heavy, let alone fly into space?
Like I don't know if you guys seen the launch that happened yesterday for the rocket, but just to launch it from Florida to somewhere in the Middle East, I forgot, but just to launch it from there to there, it's $90 million. That we need to have a fuck ton of money just to have that much fuel or launch to launch like that small booster into space. And it's not even gonna be in space for a long time. Well, minus the satellite, but yeah, it's 90 million just to use those launchers, which is too much money.
Yeah, we're on the, I guess, our limit right now as a like a society for the whole human race, where we can't break the energy barrier, right? We can't find a way to make energy more efficient.
Hmm.
Like until we can break that barrier, like we can't be interplanetary.
Yeah, I, yeah, I think if we were to make Gundam, it would probably be like not even going to space yet type thing. Like I want to say the original Gundam, where it's just in the land or sea. No, it wasn't even in the sea. It was just like land or something like that.
Like even that is like weird, right? Like how do they power that crap? It's crazy.
Yeah, you would need nuclear power or even more. It'd be like uh fuck, what was that? What was that movie where they fight kaiju or whatever? Pacific Rim?
Pacific Rim.
Yeah. It'll be like that. Minus the two people inside the cockpit thingy. I guess that would be more realistic because they're using the minds of two people in order to control a robot.
I feel like that was before AI, right?
Yeah.
Because it's pretty old. Yeah. So I think he had the right idea. Like, oh, just another human. But in a sense, like that energy thing is such a problem. Like if you have something that big, like even if you power it with nuclear power, it would take like on its back to be able to power it, right?
Yeah.
And that's really heavy. So then you would need like another one on the ground to power that one to move. So it's like, what the heck?
So then it'll be like Evangelion where they have to have the
Yeah, they have
cables
to have the
strapped on.
cable,
Yeah.
yeah, attached to them.
Oh, look at these theories.
Oh shit, making sense.
We're making Evangelion.
I feel like it would be organic because it would be organometallic for like the first Gundam or something, because or biological processes are so efficient compared to like what's that called, the engine?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the Carnell engine? Ah shit, I forgot my thermal something engine. It's the limitation where every time we put energy in, we lose a lot. Like it's not efficient at all.
That's
So
all engines.
yeah, that's all engines. Yeah. So
Wait, there's a
until we
thing.
find like, huh?
There's a thing called organic metal.
No, I said it would, cause our body, right? Like living things, we generate energy so well,
Yeah.
super efficient compared to engines, where
Mhm.
they're like, I think they're like, now don't quote me on this, but I think it's pretty low. I don't know the efficiency rate for it, but it's pretty low compared to processes. So I think if you combine the two, then it would be like,
No, I'm talking about like the physical creation of a Evangelion. You said there was like organic metal or something?
yeah, technically you can make organic metal or something as hard as metal. For
But
like, for example, diamonds
mhm.
would be organic,
Oh, okay,
like
okay.
yeah, or like a turtle shell, right? Like something as hard as steel. Stuff are harder than steel, so then it would be possible.
Wait, was Evangelion metal or was it like Gundam where there's like a
No, they were organic metal.
yeah,
You
okay.
know how they bleed,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, and they have teeth and shit. I don't know why. They can
Yeah.
scream. Yeah, so I feel like yeah, he's on the right idea. Would be like that in the future.
That would suck though. Being inside a living thing. Well, I mean, we all came from a living thing, but I'm just saying going back into one.
Yeah, it'll take like a few years to get used to it, but then it'll just be normal again, right?
Yeah.
People will just be like, eh.
Oh, wait, but
Internet
there was
it changed our whole life, and now everyone's just like me.
the pod, right? I completely forgot. Like they just inject like a pod from the back into like the chest part of the Evangelion, and then they flood the pod with liquid or something like breathable liquid.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, first we gotta create breathable liquid.
Yeah, which isn't so far fetched, right? Because we just need oxygen, and as long as we have like a biological system, oxygen in the water, then we can breathe.
Oh
You know,
snaps! It's a matter of
Yeah.
time.
like fish. Yeah.
We can't really separate the oxygen from the water that well, though.
Yeah. You never know, man. In the future,
I just want to see.
grow some gills.
They can. Or they could like put the gene of like a fish or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
Because they're already doing it with like pigs and sheep and stuff like that.
yeah. They can make a pig glow in the dark. I can't see why they can't put fins or gills on humans.
Gills. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
a
mean,
fin
it's
too.
more
Whatever.
complex, but
Sharks,
you can probably
sharks.
make it.
Um. Yeah. I think we need to explore the world that we live in, Earth, because we haven't even explored like what was the number? I forgot the percentage, but it was like 40. It was like still like close to the 50% of unexplored territories of Earth. I think we need to know the world that we live in first before we get into like exploring the outside world.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and just like studying just us takes so many like centuries, right?
Yeah.
Body, like holy shit.
But the problem is not many people wants to learn. They're trying to go out of the world. That's why like space funds and stuff like that is more well funded versus other stuff like biological stuff.
Well,
Mm,
I feel like it's the opposite.
Are you sure?
yeah, I
Yeah,
think so too.
I feel like a lot of people tend to want to go explore the world. Like they want to travel, they want to like scuba dive and shit. Like I think very, very, very small percent of people want to actually go out into space.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But it's like I think it's so important because it's like the what it means to be human, because it's like the ultimate thing you can explore, right? Like it takes the best human uh like intelligence to be able to explore space,
Mm-hmm.
walking to the beach and taking a swim. So that in a sense is like symbolic, and it's very good for like this human spirit to like help us remind that we should go out and explore the world, because I feel like that's kind of like that's where meaning is for like people and explore. And it can be a variety of things. It can be, explore other humans, explore yourself, explore different lands, explore technology, just like go out there.
Okay. Oh, I got one. So would you live in a world with zombies? Like it would come down to like that survival world again.
It depends on what kind of zombie. Like Tokyo Ghoul zombies?
No. Just like, mm, I guess like World War Z zombies.
Okay, so like standard movie zombies then.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. Again, it's like a helpless world. Yeah.
But you never know. It'll be like I Am Legend with Will Smith, where we make a cure for cancer and everyone gets injected and somehow turns into zombies or whatever. I think for me, just the fact that it's a survival thing that I like it. So if we were to become in or be in that world, I would definitely survive till the very end. Or I want to be in that world. It's a high risk, high reward.
Yeah, right. It's like in our DNA. Like if you had that same mindset like your ancestors did, that's probably how we got this far. They're probably like, fuck it. The lion's over there, let's just go and kill it.
Or well, they did that for the mammoth. I don't know about the lion, but yeah.
I don't know if mammoths were a big threat, were they? Yeah, maybe. They don't seem
I
very
don't think they
agile.
were a threat, but they were definitely like a challenge.
Oh yeah, maybe because they were so
'Cause
big.
humans, you see
Yeah,
something,
we
you
like
gotta
challenges.
try and kill it.
Yep. It's like season.
Oh yeah, man. If you see something bigger than you gotta challenge it and eat it. Once you eat the creature, you gain its power. You gain its intelligence.
That would be like crazy. That happened. Like any animal you eat, you just gain its intelligence.
There's an anime like that. Oh my god, I can't remember. Blanked out. Shit. Okay, well, for one, Mononoke Hime had that where the monkeys were like, if we eat your brain, we become smarter and stuff like that. But no, I'm thinking of like more bigger one where the whole world was like that. Ah, shit. Oh, fuck. Okay, well, anyways, yeah. Oh, no, it wasn't even an anime, it was StarCraft. Like in
Oh
the
yeah.
Zerg world, the primitive Zergs and stuff like that, they kill each other to become stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, good old StarCraft.
Yep. There it is. I don't know. That's all I got for the worlds. What else? What other worlds are there? What about Dragon Ball? A world of Dragon Ball. Where there's superhumans that's like destroying planets and stuff. Like as a
That'd be
civilian,
terrible.
which
Yeah, terrible. I don't want to hear Goku scream for an hour while my city gets destroyed.
Well, at least you could give him power so that you you're like giving him the power for the spirit bomb or whatever. It's like I
You get,
contributed.
do you get that life force back?
I'm sure that
Or does it just take like 10 years of your life?
I don't know if that part was like badly translated. I don't think that was called life force. I think it was just like, spirit energy.
But do they get it back?
I'm pretty sure if he throws it back at the world, it goes back to the world.
He's just like, well, based on second law of thermo. That freaking suck.
Oh, one of the viewers said, "What about the day after tomorrow?" That's a good one.
Is that the one with the flood?
Like all the natural disasters just like happens in the world, which I'm pretty sure eventually it will. Where there's like hurricanes and tsunamis and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've only seen the trailer, which I think was the whole movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. I think that's something that I don't want to be in, even if it's survival.
Yeah,
Because
it's a different kind of survival,
yeah,
right?
you can't control climate, man. At least if it's
Yeah,
like if there's like a fucking zombie or like a goblin or whatever, you have the tools to kill it, you know. But
yeah,
if it's like something that big where all you could do is just like think of a way to survive a natural disaster, I don't know.
yeah, which is kind of um, if you think it in terms of chess, right? Like like nature selects, right? So nature is actually the board. So you have no control over the board. Like the board just flips on you.
Yeah.
That's pretty much natural disaster.
Yeah.
Like that's the scariest part, probably, knowing that you're powerless.
Yeah, it's scary. Like if you've seen like the news and stuff where there's like a flood in like I don't know Japan or wherever, and then you just see like thousands of people die, and then there's buildings flipped over. You can't do anything about it, right? Unless
Yeah, you can't kill nature.
yeah, just
Like
Mm.
even if people say we're destroying the earth, like nah, the earth is gonna destroy you. That's
well,
it's more like making the earth livable for us. It's not really destroying the planet. It's destroying our like way of living,
mm,
right? Because the planet will still be here.
yeah, um, yeah. But to be fair, I think Japan does have the thingy where I don't know what it's called, but there's like rocks, or they're creating these rocks to prevent the major disasters of like a tsunami. It like reduces it or something. Shit, I forgot what it was, but I read it on the news where they're creating it like around the
Oh,
borders.
the rocks where they like put on the shore and it like breaks up the waves.
Yeah, yeah,
That thing.
yeah. They're I know they're doing that, so I think that's a pretty clever way of, you know, not retaliating but reducing natural disasters. I mean, if we're able to do that type of stuff, then I wouldn't. Nah, I wouldn't want to be in that type of world, but it'll be a lot easier, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Environmental versus what? Personal, other controllable stuff.
Yeah, stuff that you can't control is pretty scary, especially if it's like the ultimate thing that you can't control.
Yeah, we need tools or something to help us in order to deal with those type of stuff. I'm pretty sure it goes for everyone where it's like you need something in order to deal with something. Like, I don't know, for example, if you going up against like a bully, you need courage in order to go up against them, right? That's still something that's a tool. So there's a lot of factors when it comes to the worlds you got to pick or your worlds you want to be in.
Do you guys ever like use the tool, like if you're holding like a screwdriver, and like you ever notice that it becomes like a part of you somehow? You guys ever get that feeling? Like if you're driving a car, do you ever feel like the car becomes a part of you?
No.
No? Ah, that's
I
weird.
mean, that's what a tool is, right? By
Yeah.
extension, it's like
No, but do
an
you get like
extension of
that
yourself.
that weird feeling, like the realization that is actually like it's built into like our system so well that like if you're holding a screwdriver, you subconsciously know it's like width and weight, and you can like move it around so easily, like your own hand. Like you guys never get that feeling? No? Okay.
I mean, if you think of it like that, sure, but I never really thought of it like that.
I mean, you drive like the same car every day, you get like intimately familiar with like how big it is, like how much space you can fit into.
Because I feel like, yeah, right? I feel like that's why people get so mad when their car gets hit or damaged. I feel like they subconsciously think that they're getting damaged.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like.
I feel like your stuff is part of your identity in a certain way.
And also, it's like expensive as fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
And then a lot of people don't have money, so. Which is kind of different now, but.
I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. Like you just grab something and it just becomes a part of you. It's like it's like we have drivers for everything, you know. It's like, oh, never picked up a sword. Oh, here you go. Download that data.
Oh, what about the Matrix world? Where you're just like a helpless person, but you're able to download yourself into like a virtual world. So technically, you could live a world as you please, I guess. Or I mean, with like the skills and sets that you could just download, so you don't have to learn anything ever.
They don't actually know that they're in a simulation, though, right? Or do they?
Oh well, minus like some of the people, right?
Only some people, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, if you could download everything into your brain without even going through like years in time, definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
But you gotta shove like a screwdriver up the back of your skull.
I feel like if you can download everything in the world and have knowledge of everything, then you would purposely create a world where you don't have any of that.
Any of what?
Any of like the knowledge and skills. Because there's no enjoyment, right? It's like once you have everything, life becomes dull and you know everything. So then it's kind of like the journey that where you go through life. You kind of have that joy in it. So I feel like if you were to create a world, you would purposely create struggle suffering and pain built into that world to make it more enjoyable.
I think like even if you just like kind of downloaded everything in the world, you probably wouldn't be able to like understand it readily though, because you kind of have to like sync up with it.
But what happens after like you sync up? Do you just like kill yourself?
I
Because
mean,
life
that's
has no more
effort
meaning.
though, right?
Huh.
Are you talking in terms of like it's always progressing, so you can't really catch up, anyways?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
what if you
that
do
too,
catch up?
because I assume that if in a world where everybody can share knowledge with each other, like instantly, everyone is basically like a PhD. So they're like going out like trying to discover new stuff. And you'd have so much more like scientific and technological advancement that's happening all at once, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, you guys are talking about like the real world. I'm talking about the virtual world.
Oh,
Okay, never mind. Because the Matrix is a virtual world, right? No.
okay. I thought we were done with the Matrix. My bad.
Okay.
Well, that's a weird concept or theory where you create a world that you think is like you know everything about it, but that world probably could progress on its own as well.
But
Don't
wouldn't
you think?
that world be limited by your imagination? Because you built that world. Because it's kind of like you program a game, right? You code in rules and possibility, but then there's only so much possibility that you can imagine. So it's a numbers game, right?
Okay, so we're talking in terms of setting a limit. If you're setting a limit in terms of like a perfect world, then yeah, it would stop. But we're it's like Sword Art Online where there is no, or I mean, there's a set goal, but whether you get to it or how you get to it is totally like different. Unless you're talking about just controlling everything the way you want it to, and then everyone's just moving the way you want them to, and stuff like that. Like, what do you mean?
Oh, so then you would probably have to program AI so they have that randomness to it.
Yeah, because if you just
Hmm.
create the world and then place just random creatures or whatever in it, I don't I don't think they'll respond the way you want it to. They'll have like their own mindset. That's why I'm saying like if it was a game which everything's already programmed and they move everything the way they have to, then yeah, it'll be like according to how you want it to.
So you're saying we're in a simulation and
No, I'm saying when
the creator just create us and then see what the hell's going on.
yeah, pretty much.
That's scary. Like you can't not know that you're in a simulation or not. Man,
It's pretty much like it's kind of taking the religious concept where God created like a earth or whatever, but it's something created earth and then created a platform for us and then we're just living in it kind of thing.
yeah. So God pretty much made the Matrix and now we're in it
Yep.
and he wants to see what's going on.
I mean, in a way, that's so um one definition of reality, yeah.
It's just we're not or he's not in control of any one of us. It's just he created the environment for us. I'm not religious though. Just saying.
I don't know if that's do you think that's like a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing because there's potential way of over not overwriting, but going past expectation. Like it's going to the concept of, in or not Netflix, the love hate or love death robot or whatever. At the
Yeah.
very end, there was the one where everything was like in a fridge.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that concept where the fridge is the world and inside it is the creatures, right?
Yeah.
And
That
there's
sucks.
the Earth or the Stone Age, and then it develops to the point where there's like only one power, and we're like all surviving off of that one power, and then it did it blow up? I don't know. Like it just like disperses, and then there's like lights that go outside of the fridge.
Yeah, they
So
like
so that
do
would make
something.
sense of why there's no aliens, right?
Why there isn't any aliens?
There's no
Yeah.
aliens. Like we haven't encountered any aliens because
Like, yeah. So if a being created us just to like see what would happen with the Earth, that explains why we don't have anything else out there in space.
No,
well,
but that means that there would be different worlds out there, and then there'd be um like different societies, right? And then if we're gonna venture out of the platform into like the open space or whatever, then we're bound to encounter other species that's doing the same, right?
well, let's yeah, that's a possibility. But let's assume we're in a simulation
Mm-hmm.
and all simulated. That means there will be no other worlds, right? Because you can't escape the program per se. You're bound by the limit program, which
Mm-hmm.
happens to be the universe. So it would make aliens because only our world it's the only map that they're trying to see what's going on. So we're just like a program in a computer, and we can't, um, I guess, transport ourselves past the hardware or software.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There'll be a point where we will go out of the hardware and venture out.
Well, we're kind of like limited by the software though. We can't like physically escape the software. Like it's just kind of like an impossibility because we don't really have a physical body out there,
It's
right?
just like a concept of having like an AI. You set it so it does something, right? But it's gonna
Yeah.
keep learning and learning. You can't predict what it's gonna learn, right?
Yeah.
So it's taking that concept more broader, where if there's like a shell, it's gonna burst out and expand and go out.
Well, they have no like way to like physically impact the physical world though. So they wouldn't be able to like create a material body to like upload into, right?
Well, you never know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
It's a possibility. So in the end, it doesn't even matter. Ladies and gentlemen, Linkin Park. All right. Well, thank you guys for sticking around. Yeah, that's it for the podcast. So thanks, Seth and Tim, for coming, and everyone have a good night, good morning, good afternoon. Stay safe.